I knew something was wrong the moment she placed my hand on her stomach and whispered, "It's yours." Her voice cracked just enough to make the words sound rehearsed, like lines she had practiced in the mirror. My heart should have leapt, but instead it twisted, recoiling as though it sensed a truth I hadn't yet spoken aloud. For weeks, I had been ignoring the signs. The sudden late nights at work, her new perfume that lingered in the air even when she claimed she had just come home from the office, and the way her phone was suddenly glued to her hand, screen tilted away from me. Each red flag had been softened by my own denial, brushed off with excuses that kept me believing she was still mine. But now, staring into her eyes as she delivered the news of a child, a storm gathered in my chest. Joy wrestled with suspicion. Love collided with fear. And deep beneath it all was a splinter of dread. What if this miracle she was handing me was never mine to hold? We sat in the living room, the glow of the lamp casting soft shadows across her face. She looked fragile, radiant even, and that only deepened my confusion. "Say something," she urged, gripping my hand tighter. I don't know what to say," I admitted, my voice trembling. "You're going to be a father," she insisted, as though repeating it would erase the unease etched into my bones. But behind her eyes, I saw something else, a flicker of guilt, gone as quickly as it appeared. In the weeks that followed, I tried to silence my doubts. I told myself she was stressed, that pregnancy hormones could explain her mood swings, her distance, her sudden tears in the middle of the night. I clung to the idea that maybe I was just paranoid. Yet the cracks widened. One evening, while she showered, her phone lit up on the nightstand. I shouldn't have looked. I knew it even as my fingers hovered over the screen. But love doesn't protect you from curiosity, it feeds it. The message read, "Last time was unforgettable. When can we do it again?" My lungs emptied. My knees buckled. The words blurred, yet the meaning burned into me with cruel clarity. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay awake, listening to the sound of water dripping from the bathroom faucet, the faint hum of the city outside. My wife, the woman I thought I knew better than anyone, had secrets buried deeper than I dared imagine. The next day, I confronted her, not directly, but with a question meant to sting. "Are you sure the baby is mine?" I asked quietly over breakfast. Her spoon froze midway to her mouth. She blinked, eyes wide, then narrowed into something sharp. "How dare you?" she hissed, her voice breaking with outrage. Or was it fear? "After everything, you think I would lie about something like this?" I wanted to believe her. God, I wanted to. But her reaction was too fast, too defensive, like a shield raised before the arrow even flew. I started noticing patterns. She would disappear for hours with no explanation. Sometimes she came home smelling faintly of cologne that wasn't mine. Other times, she looked drained, as though she had been somewhere she shouldn't have been. Finally, unable to bear the gnawing suspicion, I followed her one evening. The city was alive with neon lights and traffic, but I kept my distance as she turned down a quiet street. She entered a small bar tucked between a laundromat and a pawnshop. My heart pounded as I peered through the window. She wasn't alone. 3 men sat around her, drinks in hand, laughter spilling into the air. Moments later, a 4th joined them, sliding an arm across her shoulders with the ease of familiarity. She leaned into him, smiling in a way I hadn't seen in months. The scene hit me like a blade. My wife, radiant in betrayal, surrounded by men who looked at her the way I used to. When she came home that night, I was waiting. "Where were you?" I asked. "With Sarah," she lied without flinching. I stared at her, the truth clawing at my throat. "I saw you." Her face went pale. The silence that followed was louder than any confession. Finally she broke. "I made mistakes," she whispered. "I was lonely. You were distant. I didn't think you wanted me anymore." Her words twisted the knife. "I didn't think you wanted me anymore." As if my love had vanished, as if my devotion hadn't been enough. "And the baby?" My voice cracked. She looked away. Tears filled her eyes. "It could be yours," she said softly. "But it could be theirs too." The world collapsed in that moment. Every memory we had built together, every plan, every promise, it all crumbled under the weight of her betrayal. I wanted to scream, to break something, to demand answers she could never give. Instead, I sat in silence, staring at the woman who had torn my soul in half. I loved you, I whispered. I still love you, she pleaded, reaching for my hand. But I pulled away. Love, once fractured, doesn't mend so easily. Days turned into weeks, and the tension between us became unbearable. She begged for forgiveness, swore she would change, promised the child could still be ours if I chose to believe it. But trust, once shattered, is like glass. It cuts you long after it breaks. I went to a clinic alone, requesting a paternity test the moment the baby was born. The results confirmed what I already knew deep inside. The child wasn't mine. The final night I spent in our home, I stood by the crib she had prepared, staring at the tiny clothes folded neatly inside. A future that had once seemed so full of hope now lay in ruins. She came up behind me, tears streaming down her face. Please don't leave. We can fix this. The baby needs a father. I need you. I turned to her, my chest heavy with sorrow. No, I said quietly. The baby needs his father. And you need to face the truth. Her sobs filled the room as I walked out, each step echoing like the toll of a bell. Even now, I replay it all in my mind, the lies, the late nights, the moment she placed my hand on her stomach and claimed a child that was never mine. Love had blinded me, but betrayal had given me sight. And though my heart will always ache for what could have been, I know this much. I deserved better than her lies. And she knew it too.